What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Opinions from Offside podcast. Really enjoying doing these. How about you, Kanye? How's things?
Loving them.
Yeah.
Such a good laugh. Some good feedback as well from people that have been watching.
Yeah.
Some people have messaged me saying they completely disagree as well, which is great. That's the idea. Football's an opinion sport. It's been so much fun. I'm enjoying it so much.
100%. But what we were saying about is anyone that disagrees with some of the opinions, bring them on. Come on the show and challenge us. You know, we can debate it and have a little chat and make for a good conversation. So yeah, that's what we do. Right, What's the first topic on the agenda today? What do you fancy?
Right, so with the Scottish season starting, question for you: how would Scottish teams do in the English Prem?
Well, you can only, I don't think I'm being unfair in saying you can only really factor in Celtic and Rangers there. I don't know if like Hearts or, Aberdeen or Motherwell or whatever would do so well in the Premier League. But there's been an argument about that, whether to bring them over for a long time, isn't it? Because we've got a couple of Welsh teams in our football league, haven't we? You know what I mean? So
Cardiff, Swansea, Wrexham.
Yeah, so there's a few. I don't want to insult any of our friends from over Hadrian's Wall, but I think they'd struggle. I don't think they're used to the same level of competition. I think they would maybe be bottom half of the Prem, to be honest. Having said that, though, some of the players that both Celtic and Rangers have had over the years, they've had some quality players. What do you think? How do you think they'd get on?
I agree with what you're saying. I think they would struggle purely because of I think it's very similar to the French league with PSG. If you watch PSG play in the French league, they'll come up against teams and they sort of drop off like it's beneath them in a respectful way. But then when they come to the Champions League, they try and turn it on, and at that level, it's so hard just to turn on to play. So I think maybe, no disrespect to any of the teams in Scotland, being an Accies fan, more than the Accies, I just don't think that you can have that. But I think they'd learn very quickly. I don't think they would struggle in the long term. I think they'd do well, both Celtic and Rangers, with massive stadiums, massive supports, massive amount of income from fans with the crowds. There's another conversation to have. Is Celtic Rangers the biggest derby in the UK or maybe even in Europe? But I think once they were used to it, if they could stay in the Premier League for, say, a year or two, I think they'd be able to attract players which would take them up. Whether they compete to break the top 6 or top 10, it's another story. But I think it would be such a good thing to see. Look at the players they've had. Celtic, Henrik Larsson came over, went to Barcelona.
Exactly who I was going to mention. And he scored about 53 goals in a season, league goals as well, didn't he?
Yeah, brilliant player. He'd come back from a broken leg as well and still just hit the ground running. Yeah, players like, Rangers have had Laudrup. Celtic had Van Dijk. But there's so many players where you think, could they have done it in England? And you just, a lot of them, I still remember, as we were talking about free kicks the other day, Nakamura's free kick against United in the Champions League, just out of this world, just right in the top bin. Yeah. And I think if they were to settle in the English Prem, for example, I think who they could attract would be what would make them competitive. Maybe not so much now as they are, but maybe within 2 or 3 years. Who wouldn't want to play at like the Ibrox Stadium?
I was going to say what an away day that would be. Like both of them teams would be a brilliant away day. Let me take it down a notch then. No disrespect. Let me take it down a notch. Would you put your money on Celtic or Rangers winning the Championship, the division below, not the Premier League, but the Championship, which is a lot more physical?
It's such a difficult league as well.
Yeah,
I'd happily. I think they both get out within 2 years. I think that's no disrespect to the teams that are there now. I just think with who they could draw, like regardless. I look at it. Your mate Stuart Marlowe will love this. Look at Birmingham in League One. it's such a big day for everyone to go and play at St Andrews. They are the scouts. They are the scouts to take. So I think they'd be very similar to that, but with the quality of who they could attract, I think they could just do what Bayern Munich do. Any team that competes, they just go and buy the players. And I think they could do that in the Championship to get out of the Championship.
Well, let me give you. So I think we're in agreement that perhaps they would be mid to bottom half of the table, bottom third of the Premier League, and maybe playoff places in the Championship. Do we agree on that?
I would agree that for the first couple of years, absolutely. I just think with the squad they've both got now, that's what I'd say. The minute they're recognised as a Premiership team, I mean, we spoke about who Sam Allardyce attracted to Bolton. Surely playing for Celtic or Rangers, imagine going to Celtic Park or the Ibrox as your home stadium would be brilliant. I mean, I've not seen their facilities training-wise, but we spoke about that before. I'm guessing they'll be top-notch because they're the biggest teams in Scotland. Not going to pick any order, but,
So let me throw this at you, Is the Scottish Premier League, is it easy? And let me give you the case in point. Steven Gerrard went over there as a new manager, pretty novice and wet behind the ears. Won the league with Rangers. All right, the thing is, he had Bill as like an assistant coach, who I'm now thinking was the brains. He came over and had a shocker in England at Villa. So is it because does that make a point for the difference in standards?
I would go back to type of manager. I think in that league, especially if you've got someone like Gerrard come in, he's just not long finished his time in MLS, his first real manager role. Why would you not want to work hard for Gerrard? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what hard work beat talent when talent fails to work hard. So regardless, it's another saying, you can have that one.
That come from Rocky.
I'll take it. I've stolen it. It's mine. But I don't think when he comes to Aston Villa, for example, I don't think he had to be as tactically nous as you would have in Scotland. You can literally go, right, okay, you're better players than these. You could get away with tweaks, but then still, not to take away what he's done, Celtic were dominating. Yeah, maybe not the competition that they wanted, but they were on for 10 in a row. And I know with having family in Scotland, that was the Rangers side of them. They would be stopping at all costs. So, and to do it was just amazing. I mean, I'm obviously Liverpool. I'm a massive Gerrard fans. For him to go and do that, but then good footballers don't make good managers. I would say the reason from the stories you hear about Gerrard as a manager, he expects every player to be himself, to be at that level and to be that committed, and it's just not the case. Some people are not mentally that sort of mind for him. Apparently that was the issue, but whether that's true or not, it's just from the rumour.
It's the old story about Glenn Hoddle being the same, wasn't there? That he was frustrated that players couldn't do what was easy to him. He would stand up and go, right, well, look, we're going to do 3 kicks today. So the wall's here. Just put it over the wall in the top left-hand corner. It's like, it's not as easy as that. It's like, out of the way, look, boom, like that. Just boom, like that. Look, boom, like that. Just do that. And when they couldn't, he was like, and it was the same coming back to the Hammers again, as I often do, when we had Gianfranco Zola as a manager for a little while. And he was too much of a nice bloke, but he also couldn't really get his head around why the West Ham players couldn't do what he did. And there's a story that he used to join, because he'd only just retired as well. He was maybe 36 or something. And he was joining in at times in training, and he was just like taking liberties with them, like not making people, scooping it over their head and back again, like putting it in the top corner, like running the whole pitch, taking it around everyone. And in the end, I think it was, let's try and get this right. Who was it that went to see him? I'm going to mess my timing up here, but 2 prominent players, might have been like Lucas Neal and Anton Ferdinand or something, had to go to him in the end, like, boss, like, you're going to have to stop playing because you're ruining morale. Like, you're making everybody feel crap. You know what I mean? Or the other thing was that just register as player manager and, like, get your boots on, come and have a game, because you're still better than everybody else here. But he also couldn't understand why other people just generally couldn't do the things that he does. Do you know what I mean?
I think
go on. You were saying earlier on about the Rangers team all pulling together out of respect for Gerrard. So what you're saying is when you've got a player that's a legend like that, are you saying everybody gives it an extra 10% because of his standing as a player? Is that what you're saying?
Sort of, yeah. I don't think any player goes out there and thinks, well, I'm going to give you 80% today. I don't think that's what players think.
You'd look up to him, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think you'd want to impress him. Like this is one of the greatest midfielders of all time. He's now, I'm working with him. How can I not learn from him? Even if the messages are not how I want it, I'm still going to take the parts that I need to. And maybe with the standard not being at the level of the Premiership, maybe that was sort of hid away. I mean, he's in Saudi Arabia now. I've not really seen how his team's doing, but by all accounts, not pulling up trees. So, maybe it's one of them.
If that's the case, though, that people are looking up to him and they're raising their output and they're raising their levels because of the player he was, why didn't that transfer to Villa?
I think with Celtic and Rangers, say, for example, you've got the Celtic and Rangers players on average are rated out of 10. Majority of them would be 6, 7, 8s. I think they're playing, no offence, 3, 4s and 5s. I think they're naturally levels. It's like as you say with Zola being 36 and still looking the best player on the park. That's not an insult to anybody else who's playing, but it's just levels above. Like he couldn't do it for 90 minutes. He might be able to do it for 15 in a game, but it's just that's naturally his level where he's at. So maybe it's something to do with that. Maybe naturally the Celtic and Rangers players were just naturally above the ones like your Aberdeens and your Motherwells and again, no offence, but maybe that's what it was. And like we said before, it's a big day out for them. So if you can go and get something,
it's everyone's cup final.
Yeah, I remember when the Ackies got relegated. I'm sure we took points off Celtic and Rangers, but that year, and that's the year we got relegated, and thought we were going to win the championship. We got relegated again. Lovely.
Yeah. Any other honourable mentions? You said about Henrik Larsson. Ali McCoist was a hell of a player, wasn't he? Goal scorer.
Got to be careful. Got to be careful how I talk about Ali McCoist. My mum used to love him. So Ali McCoist is
I quite like his punditry as well.
Yes. He's quite an honest one. I like him. Like he was good at the Euros as well. Like I like Ali McCoist. He's very much to the point. I mean, you've got Andy Goram. We spoke about. He went to play for United, even if he was supposedly past it a little bit. I tell you who I thought.
Di Canio played at Celtic.
Di Canio played at Celtic. I tell you who I actually thought would come to England and people would be surprised at how good he was Barry Ferguson.
Yeah.
Such a good player. Like when he was at that. I mean, I know I'm not being picking a side here, but like watching Rangers and Celtic when I was younger, a lot of Leicester players went to Celtic because of Martin O'Neill. But Barry Ferguson, he was just he was everywhere. Just got about the pitch. He wasn't a CDM. He wasn't an 8. He wasn't a 10. He just did a little bit of everything. He was such a good player. And when he went to Blackburn, I think he didn't do himself no harm there. I thought he did really well with Blackburn, playing under Sam Allardyce, just everywhere. Just such a good player.
Which Laudrup played at there? Was it Brian? Brian
Laudrup. And then he didn't really. Maybe he left it too late for when he went to Chelsea. But he again, another one, just levels above, just so good.
Do you know, I was going to make a point as a case in point about their standard because they don't play at the same level as the Premier League. I think that's not unfair or offensive to say. They don't play against Man Cities and, whatever every week. I was going to say the case in point is how they don't really do anything in Europe in the Champions League. But then I'm going to play devil's avocado here because we're being a bit unfair there because it was only the season before last that Rangers got to the Europa League final and just lost out to Frankfurt. So maybe we're being a bit unfair there because they got all the way through it, and they got a stage further than West Ham did, and a lot of other teams went out that year. Dortmund went out that year. Some big European teams went out that year, and they went all the way to the final. And
don't forget, like we've just, as I brought up earlier, Man United suffered at Celtic. Barcelona struggled at Celtic. You know what I mean? They met the Wall of Glasgow, they called him? Fraser Forster when he was there, and he was just immense that day. Like it was I'm sure that they had such a difficult group as well. Was it AC Milan, Barcelona, all in the same group?
Barcelona, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Barcelona went out, didn't they, on the way there?
Yeah. So that's something like that. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe with the Celtic and Rangers, the two big teams in Scotland, every other team is their cup final, and the chance to play a team like Celtic, Rangers, or if they were to move to the Premiership, wouldn't they then look at it as their cup final and do what's been done to them every game?
It's like the underdog. It's the underdog.
Yeah. I mean, would you say, I don't think it'll ever happen where they move to the Premiership. I just don't think.
Would you be in favour of it?
I would say no. I think they're both better as big fishes in a small pond rather than where they are. I mean, if they had the capacity to do it, and I mean, could you imagine with the Premiership money, like who they could draw? Like it'd be amazing. It'd be nice to see, but maybe adding them to one of the cups, maybe putting them into the FA Cup as a tester. Yeah, I'd be happy with that if they went into the FA Cup. I mean, the chance they could have done it was the year United did the treble. The year after, because it clashed with the
World Club Championship.
Yeah, and then instead of even fielding reserve team, they went out. Why not invite the champions of Scotland to join that 1 year? Let's see how it gets on. I mean, could you imagine if they got to like semi-finals or finals? Like what a day out it would be if you've got someone like at the time Southend with Super Freddie Eastwood. Like what a player!
Freddie Eastwood.
Yeah, could you imagine like Freddie Eastwood up there, like doing the bits, just taking on Southend versus Celtic, or even, I know you don't like me saying it, but Millwall when they got to the final. Do you imagine Millwall Celtic? I mean, what a day that'd be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they came over though, they'd probably want to come over for the Premier League money. The TV revenue money is like 260 million or something a season.
Yeah,
I think that would be a carrot to come more than a cup. What do you think?
Well, I think the cup could be the first step in. I mean, would they really want to lose out? Because then what happens? Do you just put them straight in the Premiership? Do you expand the league to make it 22 teams? Or
teams would object though, because that will be more. I can see that's more fixtures and an already quite congested calendar. It would mean that 2 would drop out, but 2 wouldn't come up.
Yeah.
So that would rub people up the wrong way. So yeah, it's a quandary. I think you'd have to start with. What about this then? What about if the greedy 6? I won't say the big 6, but the greedy 6 do eventually break away and form a Super League? Could you see the inclusion of Celtic and Rangers then, in like not in a Super League, but in a reformed Premier League, but minus the big 6, greedy 6?
Why? Well, I would look at why would then, if you're doing that, why would you not take Celtic and Rangers into your Super League?
Because if you don't think they would cut it in the Premier League, are they cutting it against Real Madrid, PSG? You know, they get battered surely.
Maybe not for the first few years. But one of the things that people disagree with this was about the no relegation. I mean, the Super League
would have been fun, would it? For the supporters, surely.
I mean, I looked into the Super League, and me and my brother had this conversation. He was massively against it, and I said to him, like, yeah, but do you not think it'd be great to every Tuesday, Wednesday to have a Barcelona, Real Madrid, or a Real Madrid versus Juventus, an AC Milan, Inter Milan? But is it not the same as the Champions League? That's how the Champions League should be. It's the champions. It should be the champions of, and that's coming from a Liverpool fan. We won the league and we came fourth. Won the Champions League, came fourth. Like, surely the Champions League should be the champions.
Right, but it's still that's a different conversation. But the breakaway league wouldn't just be the champions. It wouldn't just be Man City. Liverpool would be invited. Arsenal would be invited. Like the big clubs that are a brand.
Yeah. But don't forget, this was not to replace the Premier League. The plan was, from what I read, the plan was never to leave the Premier League. You would always still have the Premier League as it was. That Barcelona and Real Madrid would still play La Liga. This was actually to replace the Champions League. they wanted to change the format of the Champions League because they thought too much money was going elsewhere. That was the issue. And the Champions League have so as of, is it this year? They're doing that now. Don't know if you know that the Champions League is just one big league now.
Yeah, it's like a round robin, isn't it? Everyone has to play each other in a league rather than knockouts. Doesn't seem like a cup competition anymore, though, does it? But it's probably fairer that way.
Yeah,
it's not luck of the draw. You're going to have to, whoever's going to win that is going to be the best team. Like the league doesn't lie, does it? And if it's a league format, the league doesn't lie. Whereas, like there's been times when, like take England, right? We definitely got the lucky half of that draw, didn't we? If we'd have played Spain, if we'd have played Spain in the first knockout game, we wouldn't have got to the final, would we?
No.
So I suppose that eliminates the luck of the draw.
Yeah, I like the idea of the new way, but that's pretty much what the Super League were wanting, that sort of structure. But they just wanted to control more of the money than UEFA. That was the main big issue. And it was only when the Premier League and La Liga and Serie A were saying, well, if you're going to break away from the Champions League, then you need to break away from the league. That's where the confusion, from what I read about it, the confusion came from. It was never to leave the Premier League. It was always to make the Champions League more profitable for clubs rather than just your FIFAs and UEFAs. I mean, to me, I won't. That's definitely a conversation for another time. But the whole point of UEFA, I think, it's been lost. It's mental that your team could get to the Champions League final, and your supporters have been there supporting. Yeah, that's what it is. You followed your team all around. Like you as a West Ham fan, when you won it, you followed them to all around Europe, all these obscure places to have the final in. Where was it? Azerbaijan.
No, it was Prague. It was Prague.
Prague, sorry. Okay,
it was a pretty small stadium, and the ticket allocation wasn't much at all.
Ridiculous. I mean, I'm pretty sure with the ticket they've been given, and the ticket allocations for the fans was like 40 for the fans, 60 for corporate.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Why not put it in a bigger stadium?
Yeah.
Why not use a Wembley? Like, make it a big deal. I know you wanted to take it to the other countries and stuff like that, but surely, like even say like is it Croke Park in Belfast?
Dublin.
Huge stadium. Dublin, sorry, yeah. Huge stadium. Why not use that? Some of the rugby stadiums are huge. Like, why not use them?
Yeah, the problem with the European Super League and the breakaway is it's a closed shop. Like you're saying about the money distribution, but they don't want anyone else being able to get in there and qualify for it. That's why they don't want relegation and they don't want this and that. And I'll tell you a big case in point about that. And then this might even bring us on to like a quick discussion going back to VAR and whether it's used for the powers that be to control who qualifies, right? Because the year Leicester won the Premier League was a disaster, right, for the Champions League. I thought it was brilliant cheering on the underdog, and I thought they did amazing doing it, right? But the fact that UEFA don't want Leicester City in the Champions League, it's not glamorous. It doesn't make money. They don't get the sponsors. It's all about marketing, TV rights. They'd much prefer Man United, Liverpool, no offense. But you know what I mean? Like they're bigger, sexier names than Leicester. And it's almost as if they want to close shop because they want to keep those marquee teams in there to make it a glamorous competition.
Yeah, absolutely. With the thing where the 12 founding members would always be in it, ridiculous.
Yeah,
makes no
sense.
Ridiculous.
No, it makes no
like
sense.
You know what I mean? Like you've got AC Milan who've missed out on the Champions League for 7 years or so. Why? Why are you keeping them in? Yeah. Like it made no sense. And then you're going to exclude teams like Benfica, Porto, Lisbon. You know what I mean? You're going to
Sevilla with a rich history, who won the record break number of Europa leagues, like, you know?
Yeah, crazy. They win 4 in a row. I think it was 4 in a row they won. Like, just absolutely crazy. So those teams are going to be excluded and they need inviting in. Why would they come in? It's just crazy.
Baffles me even more that they wanted to invite Spurs, who haven't won anything.
But it's always nice. It's always nice to have a whipping boy.
Whipping boy, that's what I mean. Spursy, have a nice whipping boy. What you said something earlier on? You said about a lower league player earlier on. I forget who it was, and a topic of conversation popped into my head, and I'm just gonna say to you, Lee Trundle.
Oh, Magical. Magical. What a player. Big trundle. Like,
unreal. Really unreal.
Like, I remember him popping up on Soccer AM and just his highlights, he'd catch it on his chest, he'd roll it around, and then, just what a player. Like, he was a Scouser that played in Wales, wasn't he? I'm sure he was a Scouser.
Played for Swansea, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he moved on to somewhere else.
I think he played for Newport as well.
I think you might be right. So let's have an honourable mention for people that have made you. That was it, Eastwood, Freddie Eastwood, is it you said about?
Yeah, Freddie Eastwood, yeah.
So let's have an honourable mention about some players at lower leagues that have ripped it up. So
you mean like scored one of those where the streets will never forget?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know he only played lower league for a little bit, but Adel Taarabt, oh my God.
Yeah.
What a player.
Yeah.
Like, incredible. Like, the skills he was doing. I mean, I love the story with Warnock. Like, when he first went at QPR and he was like, he was watching him training. He went, "Who's that kid with the gloves on there?" He goes, "Don't worry about him, Gaffer. He'll get you sacked." And he watched him. He went, No. He's playing. Like, so he spoke to him. So listen, Adel, I'm going to play you Saturday. And if you shite, I'm going to play you the next Saturday. I'm going to play you the next Saturday. And then he watched him for a game and he said he's unbelievable, but he's doing things in his own half. So he said to him, right, I need you to stay in your half. In the other half, the opponent's half, don't come back. And then he told all the other players, every time you pass him the ball in our half, you'll get fined 50 quid. So basically, they stopped passing to him while he was in their half, so we had to stay up. And like, he was just so good, just unbelievably good.
That's what we thought we were getting with Ben Rama, and he just was like a wish version.
I don't get that, because he had glimpses of ability, and Brentford. Then he just he looked all right. He just then disappeared.
Yeah,
crazy.
He had no end product was the problem with him. He had his same step over, cut inside, try and curl it in the far top corner, and it would go wide and high every time. And then in the end, instead, even though he could dribble, rather than take the fullback on, get to the byline and cross it or whatever, it just was always, if it weren't cutting inside, he was turning back on himself, playing it back to the fullback.
Yeah.
Every single time, it was so frustrating. And he would. I've seen him jump out of 70-30 tackles in his favour.
I never get that. I never understand that. Like, the thing is, we've had this played at amateur league. A big tackle just gets everyone going. Just have a go. Like, worst that can happen. Like, I mean, especially as a professional footballer, on a good whack, like, got to be on what, 40 grand a week?
Yeah.
Hey, to go and put your foot in there. If you get injured, all right, Sam, you're in a bit of pain. You're getting 30 grand a week, and the best medical treatment. Like, what? Come on, mate, go for it.
Yeah, unbelievable. Any other honourable mentions for lower league ballers? Can you think of anyone else? I'm trying to think of other people that were like proper bagsmen in the lower leagues.
Yeah,
one with Eastman. There must be this some we're forgetting at the off the cuff.
Yeah, Freddie Eastwood. I tell you who used to do it, and just certain players don't seem to be able to do it when they take the step up. Clive Mendonca, Charlton.
Mendonca, yeah.
Yeah. He was good. He was a good player. Just a finisher. Just put the ball in the net. Who else was there? Who was the other one? Sean Bartlett. Do you remember him?
Yes, I remember. Yeah, I remember Sean Bartlett.
Yeah, he scored a couple of worldies. I tell you who was good, actually. One of the lads I played with, well, he shouldn't have played because he was a professional at the time, but we won't talk about that. Lee Tomlin.
Right.
Lee Tomlin was, he was at Rushden and Diamonds, and he went to Peterborough. And he was sort of a 10, tearing it up, doing his thing. And I think he left there and went to Middlesbrough. I tell you, this might remind you of who he is. He played against Middlesbrough. No, played for Middlesbrough against Man City. And he put a tweet up after, I don't know if they won or not, but he had a really good game against Company. And he put a tweet up saying, I heard a rattling in my washing machine the other day. I checked what it was, and it's Vincent Kompany still in my pocket. Like,
oh dear, that's cheap, isn't it?
But he's a lovely lad. He's like just a very sound geezer. Really, really nice. Really, really nice.
What become of him? Where did he end up?
He's not. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's not long retired. I know there was he was at Bristol City. He was at Cardiff. He was at Bournemouth for a little bit when they got promoted. But I think he's very much a 10. And we spoke about some teams don't like playing with a 10. He's very much a 10. Good either side. When we've played with him, shoots and hits the target. He's just always hitting the target. Like, just brilliant at the basics, what you want. But I don't know if he's finished now. I don't know if he's gone abroad, but might be worth trying to get in touch with him, just to get a little update, see how he's getting on.
Yeah.
Leicester boy.
Whatever happened to Jermaine Pennant? He went and played abroad for a while, didn't he?
Yeah. Did you not hear the story where he left his car?
No. What happened
Where did he go? Where did Pennant go? Was it Valencia or Sevilla? Someone like that?
I think it was something like Betis or one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Sociedad or something like that.
In fact, now you've mentioned Betis, I've got a player for you to bring up later. We'll move on.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure the story goes, when he left there to come back to England, he just left his Ferrari. Just forgot about it. Just left it there. Just like, how can you just leave a Ferrari just sitting there? Like, crazy. I mean, I thought Pennant was very much classic old school winger. Just give me the ball. There's my fullback. I'll go at him and I'll deliver. Like, just it's what you'd expect as a forward. He must have been a dream. Like, when he was it Birmingham before Liverpool bought him? He just get the ball. We know what's coming. I'm either head down, going past him and whipping it, or if there's space, I'm going to whip it. It must be so easy to judge as a forward. Like, right, here it comes, bang, I'm in front.
I'll tell you who I thought would be better when he was younger. I thought Routledge was going to be like that.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
never really kicked off for him, did it? And he never.
He was brilliant at Palace.
Yeah,
so good.
Another one when he was young, Bostock. Do you remember him?
Yeah, there was talk about him going to Barcelona. Turned it down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you say this on purpose, but that's two players that you might be saying Spurs ruined. I'm just saying. Saying.
It could be that. Jermaine Genius.
Wow. See, I think he hit his height. I think he peaked at Newcastle, Genius. I just think after that, I don't think I think he just plateaued. I don't think he went any further. And he was good at Forest. Very good at Forest.
Who's the other fast
Huddleston.
winger?
No, fast winger. Aaron Lennon.
No, not Aaron Lennon. It just was in my head. It's gone again. Andros Townsend. He was
Townsend was good.
Yeah, scored some bangers.
Yeah, Townsend was good. Some absolute out of this world. But can he compete? Matty Taylor. Matty Taylor.
Had a wand of a left foot. He had a wand of a left foot. Yeah.
Did he get I think it's 1 month he had 3 goal of the season contenders in 1 month. Like, just
unbelievable.
Out of this world. Out of this bloody world.
Unbelievable.
That's a question for you. So, playing anyone who seems to have a left foot, it's a wand of a left. It's magical. I've played with people where people have said that, and I think it's just the opposite to most players' rights. Like, there are some with great left foots. I know it was back in the day when England didn't seem to be able to produce left footers. Was being left footed back in the day just a gift? Right, there you go. You
novelty.
Was it a gift, or was it? Am I being harsh?
No, I think you're right. I think we do say that as a habit, as kind of a turn of phrase, really, isn't it? A wand of a left. No one ever says he's got a wand of a right foot. Do you know what I mean? So maybe it's just because it used to be a little bit more uncommon. So maybe it's just stuck like that. But here's a question back at you in that vein. When 2 centre-backs play together and they're both right-footed, it's never mentioned, but they always make a big deal about a left-footed centre-back, right? Like being able to have balance, like a right-footed right centre-back and a left-footed left centre-back. So we've just signed Max Kilman, and we've also got Naif Aguerd. We have probably our 2 best defenders. Zuma's broken. Mavropanos is very green. Zuma's got no knees, mate. The cat kicker, he's got no knees. So he needs a Zuma frame. So anyway,
that's a yellow. That's a yellow.
Come on, Rev. Come on, one more. Let me have one. So he looks like it's going to be Aguerd and Kilman, and everyone went,
Yeah.
but they're both lefties, they're both left footers. So Kilman has played on the right of a 3 at Wolves,
Yeah.
so he can play on the right. But somebody brought up the other day that many a time you'll get 2 right-footed centre-backs and no one even mentions it. So why is it such a big deal that there's 2 left-footed centre-backs? Or isn't it?
I don't think that's a massive deal. I think that's a mindset for players. I mean, John Terry used to play on the left side. Van Dijk plays on the left side. They're both right-footed. So I think that's as someone who's played centre-back, if I'm playing centre-back, I don't care what side I'm on, left or right. If I'm playing centre-mid, I don't care what side I'm on, left or right. If I'm playing striker in a 2, I don't care what side I'm on. Like, maybe because I'm comfortable swinging my left foot at something.
Oh, I'm definitely cutting that out. Maybe because I'm comfortable swinging. Your inbox is going to be full.
Hey, can you swing this way?
You've just invited a whole different demographic with that one. I was about to say you were the housewife's choice, but now it could be
a subscriber's a subscriber. That's how we're going to look at it.
And 20 quid's 20 quid, isn't it?
Listen, I'm not big enough to turn that down. I'll take it. Listen, I'd have done it for 5. I'll leave it at that. I mean, you played up front. Would you prefer to be on a certain side? I mean, one of the things I learned playing reserve football earlier was most footballers expect you to tackle with your right. The amount of times I would tackle with my left because they just don't see it coming. They're looking at the other side, and you take the ball so easy. So would you, as a striker, would you be more inclined to have drifted to the right, or would you be more of an Henry, want to drift to the left to cut in on your good foot?
No, I'm not bothered. I haven't got a good, maybe not now, but I was both footed, so it didn't really matter. Like genuinely, like not now, but when I was a kid, like it was a big thing. I think I said in the other episode about my granddad used to say, if you're a footballer, you shouldn't have a weak foot, particularly if you're a professional. And he used to make me over the park. If I'd hit a good shot with my right, it'd go brilliant. Right now, give me 20 on your left, put it in the same spot. You know what I mean? And like drill it. And back then, it was always a 2. It was unheard of playing one up front, being a lone striker. I don't know how I would have adapted to that, trying to hold the ball up and bring people into play. I could do it, but that wasn't really my game. You know what I mean? So no, I wasn't really bothered about that. But Anton Ferdinand recently in an interview said that on occasion he had to play the other side. I forget which one he preferred. I think he played on the right of centre. And he said when you play on the left of centre, the channels of passing to your fullback, it's all backwards. Like if you play on the right centre and you're playing it out to your right back, it's a case of opening your body and playing it off. Even if you're like capable with your left foot, it just everything seems weird because it's like muscle memory. It's like neurological pathways to do that, you know. And I can see. I would have thought like playing either side in the middle or playing either side up front. I would imagine defensively is harder, and I would imagine fullbacks is even harder than that.
Fullbacks, yeah. Like I purposely learned. I was a right back. Is probably my best position that I've played. Like I was okay. I was pretty good. But I purposely, because I wanted to play with my brother, who's a left midfielder. No, that's a lie. He didn't defend, so he's a left winger. I purposely wanted to play left back, so I learned to use my left foot to play on that side with him, and we had a connection straight away. I knew what he wanted. He was the danger man. I was not. Everything I did was the dumber. I would play him the ball where he wanted it. He'd play off someone or go past his man, and I would run straight past him. I knew I wasn't going to get the ball, but if I did, I was comfortable swinging my left foot here and trying to get it into the area. So maybe it's one of those where defensively I didn't mind, because if you want to, like I said before, most people expect you to tackle with your right, but the right midfielder always expects it to come from the left. So when I'm tackling with the right, it takes him 10, 15 minutes to adjust, especially when you then start playing passive with your left. You don't know what to do.
Yeah,
like,
or if your right midfielder is trying to cut in,
you're
better prepared as a right footer to be able to stop that and come inside with him. You know what I mean? Yeah. He doesn't know whether to take you down the line, and then he's seen you playing passes with your left, so he's not sure. Let me ask you this. Have you got a preferred side or a preferred leg for a sliding tackle? Because a lot of people have, don't they?
Probably right. Probably the right. Purely because I feel like I can get more force in it. Like, that's all. Like, I could do. Like if it's there, if it's a 50-50, right? Let's either you're leaving a bit on me or I'm leaving a bit on you. Like one of them. Like, but yeah, I'd probably go with the right. Would be that. I mean, would that be something that you would want to train someone? Would you want them to be comfortable going in either side? Because you see footballers now, if it's sort of leaning towards the weak side, they sort of slip into a 2-footer. Especially now with VAR, you can't get away with that. So would it be something you'd look at to train people to tackle with your left? Or do you think it's one of those where is it not that big a deal?
It's a great point and it's a great question. And this is my train of thought. My first response was thinking like the analogy of a snooker player, right? You learn all your life to get down on the shot and cue the ball a certain way. But then people come along like O'Sullivan, who rather than get the rest out, can just switch hands. And what a skill that is, right? So I would say, yes, if you can coach that and teach that. However, statistically, it's pretty well accepted that after the age of 12, you're not really going to get your technique or your habits much better. You can be coached about tactics, you can develop your game, you can work on weaknesses. But in terms of tackling, passing, heading, control, it's from 0 to 12 where you embed those things and make the neurological pathways in your brain. So I'm not even sure if I took you at 39 and said, right, we're going to drill you tackling the other side. If you're not comfortable doing that, I'm not sure if you could teach, excuse the phrase, old dogs new tricks. Do you know what I mean? Because you're used to doing it a certain way. So I'm not really sure. It's a good one. It's a good question.
See, I would go with that one. I would go the complete opposite. If you want to learn it, you can learn it regardless of age. If you want to do it, you can do it. I never really used my left foot as a kid. Only really started using it, say about 17, 18. You've seen me like knocking the ball about. I'm comfortable going left foot, no problem. And that's purely because I needed to learn to use my left to play with my brother. So I had a specific reason. I want to play with my brother. My brother was like well known in Leicester as a monstrous left winger, and I wanted to play with him to see what it was like. And that's why I learned it. So yes, I get what you're saying. Maybe it is a younger age. Maybe it was my mindset. Maybe it's one of those things where, or maybe subconsciously, I'm a little bit ambidextrous. Maybe I can do both naturally and only just looked into it. But so with that then, going on your point, would you encourage that to be taught as a younger age, as kids, say 7, 8, 9, 10, to use their left foot? I mean, we've all played in the games where, right, next goal, you can only use your left foot to passes, or 2-touch, you can only use your left foot, like, and vice versa. So would you encourage children to do that? Because imagine like now, with how the footballing is, I know this is a long one for you, but you have to be an athlete to play at a good level of football nowadays. Imagine how much you could stand out if you were athletic and could go either side.
Yeah, I think you should always be able to do. You should always be able to do both on your left and right foot. I don't know if, and this might sound ignorant, I don't know if tackling is as important as your fundamentals, passing, shooting, control, or whatever. It's a good point. I suppose if you're like coaching somebody from young, you kind of got the opportunity to build a machine, so to speak, like an Ivan Drago type machine without any weaknesses, isn't you? Yeah. So I would encourage that. But I'm not sure if tackling is quite like tackling is, like you said in one of the other podcasts about the outstanding coach you work with, when you did the drills in the boxes, he would go, right, only left foot now, only right foot now, only tackle with your left foot, and see how long the opposite number it took for them to catch on. So I would say it is important. But in terms of the question, like a sliding tackle, I think you get the job done if you're comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's like saying, just quickly, that's like saying you should be able to do it, but should our penalty takers like Ivan Toney, should he have stepped up and took it with his left foot just because he could?
Well, I think that's more comfortable. Like a penalty it's a closed situation. It's the same thing. While with tackling, if you were chasing your man and he's gone down there right, not the ball. If you try and get your right foot at that back angle, which I have done previously, you're facing the wrong way. You know what I mean? You twist your body to get your right foot there to block it, when really you should just go straight across with your left. So maybe it's one of those. Maybe we're looking into it too deep for the situation. Maybe we're making a bigger deal of the situation, because slide tackling, as Maldini previously said, probably one of the greatest defenders I've ever seen.
What a player!
If I'm slide tackling, I've been in the wrong position.
Yeah,
that's what you used to say. Like,
it's a recovery tackle. It's a recovery tackle. Yeah.
He won. What a player Maldini was. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Maldini. We talked the other episode about Football Italia, and there's a few people I thought of after I didn't mention. So obviously there's Maldini and Baresi, but there was Costa Curta, and there was Nesta, and there was Rui Costa. You know, and obviously
Rui
Del
Costa.
Piero. Yeah, there was Dino Baggio as well as Roberto Baggio. Costa, you know, Rui Costa was unreal. That's who Paul wanted to be. He had the hair like it, the curly, dark hair.
I hope Paul's going to watch this one.
Paul's going to come on with us soon. But yeah. Some great players.
Do you remember Luigi Di Biagio?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
He was just... He was so British. Like, he just loved a snap. Like, similar to Gattuso, just loved a snap. Like, brilliant. Jesus.
Yeah, some players, some absolutely brilliant. When you played fullback, was you mainly defensive and just playing balls down the line to your brother, or did you like to overlap or underlap? Did you get what was his game? Like, would you take defenders away by like making inverted runs, like underlapping or overlapping to give him space?
Basically, pretty much, my job was Jerome didn't defend. I would do the defending, and I had the same sort of way to do. The first 10 minutes, I would see what they offered. Is he going to be pacer? Is he going to be tricker? Is it a left foot player on the right to try and cut in? What do you offer? And I did the same thing every time. The first 10 minutes, let's see what you've got. Jerome would do the same. He'd size up his man. What's he got? Jerome was a goal-scoring winger. Jerome was, I would say, very much sort of like as a goal-scoring winger, very much a Salah. Like, really? if the opportunity is there, he'll get it. I'm sure 2 seasons. He was quick. He was small. His low centre of gravity was just, he'd trick away from it. The number of penalties, like, he won just by his reactions. He'd leave the ball there where they think, oh, he's lost it, and he's gone. But his foot straight. Yeah, so good. So my job was just basically just give him what he needed. He didn't need to defend. That's all right. I can defend, no problem. But the first chance I got to go past him and I got the ball, I am going all the way to the byline. All the way to the byline. Even if I have to cut back to give it to him again or swing across him, I used to always go to the byline to show the right midfielder, if you don't come with me, I am going at your man. So if my player was starting to cheat, the fullback would chat him. I won't need to say nothing. The fullback would be screaming at him, you need to come back and help me, you need to come back and help me. And because he didn't want to do the full length of the pitch running, he'd cheat and he'd stop going forward. Yeah. So now I've gone to the byline on my left foot. He thinks I'm going left foot all the time. Played the ball to my brother destroys someone, whether it's a cross or scores. If it comes to me, I'll drop inside because I'm dominantly right-footed, so I could play a pass to someone better. I mean, we had some really good players when I played with for Prem Sports, some really good footballers that could do unbelievable things. But I'd just give it to someone better, let them do the thing. If I had to, then I'd take out the responsibility. And you've seen me play the 7-a-side, and there's a lot I can do. These players were so much better, just unbelievably good, so good.
And Jerome didn't make it because he was small.
Yeah, that was. Well, he had the best one I think he would have been 24. Got to a cup final. No, maybe was he 24? Yeah, probably 24. Got to a cup final. Scouts from Coventry, Notts County, and another Midlands team come and watch him play. His team won 3-0. He scored 2, got an assist, man of the match. All of them said the same thing. You're good enough, you're just too small. And it's just, if he'd have been born 10 years later, I genuinely think he would be playing at least League One, possibly like a League One Championship team like that. He was literally that good. Just end product was always there. Like, you know, when you see players where they don't have that, just didn't have the end product. I mean, there was other players. There was Sean Barber I played with. I've never seen someone so technically gifted on the side foot. He'd knock in volleys on the side foot. He was so good. Like Mogge, Ashley Morris, who we played with, he was just like a Vieira. He just used to glide past people, just like a gazelle. Just so good, like technically good with his size 13 feet. Like just so good.
Flippers.
Like some of the players I play with, I mean, the best one. I don't want to keep going on at this one about these people that people don't know, but I watched my brother play once, and there's a player called Scott James played centre back, and his team were losing 3-0. He then someone did something, got irate. Within 20 minutes, his team were winning 4-3, and then he gets a red card for mouthing the ref, and he just showed the level he was from centre back. He had that ability to be involved in 4 goals.
Dominate. Yeah.
Yeah. To then get a red, like, and that's just him on the line. Like, the referee didn't need to send him off, but he was just such a good footballer, just so good. Like, and that's just, they're all from my estate. That's from our estates. I mean, you must have seen some players which were, you think, you're out of this world. How are you not professional?
So many that I've worked with as well. Just mentions from my cousin Terry was unbelievable. And then I think I've told you off camera what happened to him, which we might touch on in another episode. A lad called Lee Van was absolutely unbelievable. He got really close, and then he got a trial, was about to be signed, and then Redknapp, whatever way round it was, he left Portsmouth to go to Bournemouth, or Bournemouth to go to Portsmouth, and it all fell through. That was another one. Chris Stowe, he ended up playing at a lower level. He sells like memorabilia now. Yeah, I played with some great players as well, but we'll talk about that another time. Before we go, have you got a controversial opinion, or do you want one?
Let's see what you got. Throw one at me.
Robbie Fowler was an all-round better player than Michael Owen. Striker.
I know. I've heard him say that himself. He was a better player. Owen was faster.
Better finisher. Owen was fast. So when Owen had his injury and he lost his pace, he was nowhere near the player.
No. Well, Fowler never had pace.
No.
So yeah, I'd probably have to go and agree with that, because I mean, you look at the goals that Fowler he actually used to put himself about a little bit as well. He wasn't a nice player to play against. He put himself into positions where he possibly get snapped. He was good with his left, good with his right. Yeah, he wasn't good at running.
Shot off from anywhere, and he was criminally underused for England.
Yeah,
because of the era that he grew up in.
So who would have been the other forwards there? So you'd have had Shearer, Sheringham,
Les Ferdinand, Cole,
Ferdinand.
Ferdinand, you know, yeah. There were a lot of players, a lot of good players around at that time, weren't there? Chris Sutton for a time.
See, I
don't get that.
Never rated. It's not that I never rated him. I just don't think people talk about him better than I think he was. Like, no offense, but he was a good player. But they talk about him like he was like, he was unlucky to be in that era. I don't think he was top 6 strikers for England. No, like. He was good.
Yeah, not that good.
Yeah.
While we're doing that, what if I said to you, Stuart Ripley?
Oh, what a player, Ripley. I would have to raise you with Mike Newell.
Mike Newell. Oh, my goodness. He was good. Let's have Kevin Moran.
Jason Wilcox.
We did Hedinburgh the other day, didn't we? And Tim Flowers.
Kevin Gallagher.
Roy Wegley.
It's a good one, that. Two-guy.
Yeah, was Turkish, wasn't
he? Yeah, what a player.
What was the quick... But Marcus Babel.
Yeah, Marcus Babel, yeah. Remember Marcus Babel?
He came from Liverpool, didn't he?
Yeah, he went from Liverpool. Yeah, I think we got him from Bayern Munich, I think.
Yeah, he never really kicked on, did he?
Here's one thing. This is the reason why I supported Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. Martin Dahlin.
Martin Dahlin was brilliant, as was centre forward. I don't know about brilliant, but he scored goals for them. Roque Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz was so good. So good. When he was playing with Claudio Pizarro at Bayern Munich and Alexander Zickler. Oh, it's
was Martin Dahlin, was he Swedish?
Yeah, he was Swedish. Yeah, he was Swedish. Here's one of you will like this one. Morten Gamst Pedersen.
Morten Gamst Pedersen. Yeah, we've got a veteran here, fullback. Miguel Salgado.
Real Madrid legend.
Right back, wasn't he?
Yeah, right back. But I'm going to raise you. With another obscure one. Christopher Samba.
Christopher Samba. Why does that name ring a bell?
Big centre back. He played for Blackburn. He used to get like 7 or 8 goals a season. Like just big. And then they sold him when was it Zenit St. Petersburg or one of the Russian teams were buying up all the players. Yeah. And then he came back, and I think he went to QPR, and he was just not the same player.
Stefan Henchoj.
Stefan Henchoj, yeah. Great partnership with Big Sammy Hoops at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Big Swiss centre-back.
Isn't it funny? A lot of the players are like been recycled through like Liverpool, and you know what I mean? A lot of the players. And so many of them players were in that Blackburn title-winning team, like Colin Hendry.
Yeah, Colin Hendry. I used to love Colin Hendry. Yeah, then he had your strikers. David Batty in midfield with Paul Warhurst, who we covered earlier.
Yeah, Graham Lasso.
Yeah, Graham Lasso, the left back. I didn't think he was any good, that great. Yeah, I think he was spoke about better than he was. Another one
about left foot, isn't it? Another one about left-sided.
Just a left foot off. Like, yeah, I think so. Like,
do you remember the altercation with him and Fowler?
Yes, yeah. Apparently, he had an issue with Dennis Wise as well, apparently.
Yeah.
I think everyone had an issue.
In another episode, because we're getting on for an hour, we'll have to talk about the Crazy Gang and that team. We'll have to go in depth about that Blackburn team that won the title and what became of them. But I want to also talk about that same sort of era, maybe a bit before. I want to talk about that Middlesbrough team with Emerson and Juninho and Ravanelli.
Emerson, Tom. In defence, Mark Sforza in goal. Christian Ziege.
Ziege.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah,
Alan Boxic.
Mate.
Player.
We'll have to talk about that, mate. As always, it's been another good episode and a pleasure talking with you. Have you enjoyed that, mate?
Great. Beer's empty, which I'm not happy about, but we'll have to get another one.
Me and all reminisced a bit tonight. It's getting on where we are just to see behind the curtain. Both Kenya and I finished work tonight. It is getting on for 20 to 4 in the morning. But we sat down to record this for you guys. Again, thanks for the feedback that you're giving. We're absolutely loving some of the comments we're getting on the videos and on the socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatnot. Keep them coming in. Again, I say every episode, it really helps us. We're trying to grow this from the ground up. So, like, we start off at 0 subscribers, 2 subscribers, 10 subscribers, 12 subscribers. We're going to try and build it up. We're going to try and do this as often as we can daily at the minute because we're really enjoying doing it. Helps if you subscribe, interact with us, comment, like the video, share it, and disagree with us or tell us we're right or wrong or whatever. And it gives us conversation, give us topics to talk about. And as long as you're still watching it, we're still interested in recording it.
Absolutely. Yeah? Absolutely. Like, don't forget, if anyone wants to share their stories as well, we'll happily cover those as well. Anything like that, why not get involved?
As we said earlier on, we'll bring people into this, and you can have a discussion with us. Any football fans that get interested in the chat, like, jump on, drop us a message on the socials, and we'll bring you in. It'd be lovely to do that, and lovely to meet some more people. So, Absolutely. Look, it's been a pleasure. So until next time, that's all we've got from
Opinions from Offside.
Cheers. Thanks.